Hey divas and chicas, how y'all doing? Alrighty, hello everybody. Hi, welcome back to my channel. Okay, happy Wednesday. I hope you're all having a wonderful week. If you are not, I hope that it gets better. Alright. With that being said, today we're gonna be talking about a subject that is very kind of hot topic right now, and it is Five Nights at Freddy's in Dead by Daylight. I mentioned earlier in a couple bit of videos back that I wanted to make this, and I've been working on it since a little bit before that video, and I just wanted to make sure that I had everything that I wanted to say like written down, and just make sure that I cover everything that I want to say. With that being said, let's get right into it. As you can see, we have some background footage of me playing as the artist. I hope you guys enjoy. But yeah, so the first things first, all right? This is not, I feel like this is not going to be a huge chapter in the sense of like, we're not getting multiple killers. You know, we're getting one killer, we're getting one map, and we're getting a survivor. So the thing that I feel would really take this collaboration to the next level is skins, costumes, all right? So who is the killer? More than likely, I feel like it's gonna be Springtrap, all right? I feel like that's just, he's the overarching villain for a lot of the Five Nights at Freddy's lore and most of the games. So who knows, you know, they could do a 180 and make the killer not Springtrap, but we'll see, right? So with that being said, that's who I think the killer is going to be. Now, costumes are pivotal in this collaboration because you're not going to add 17 different animatronics, you know, but you could have 17 different costumes. And so the first thing I want to talk about is costumes for killers that are not Springtrap, all right? Because for Springtrap, you could do a lot of the basic animatronics. You could do Freddy, you could do Bonnie, you know, those are the ones that I really had for him, apart from, you know, the other Springtrap variants such as Burn Trap, Glitch Trap to a lesser extent. But yeah, so you could do a lot. Now, costumes are key, and I keep saying that because I really hope that they do the following. I have a list of killers and a list of skins that could be for those killers, all right? So starting off with my favorite, the marionette. I think the marionette would go insanely well with the nurse. They both float. The little blink effect could work really well. I think it would be really cool, especially because, you know, the marionette is always seen throughout the lore as like, and throughout the games as like this kind of like, not so much ethereal, because we know it's a real thing, but the way that it floats above everything, and it's eerie because in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, if you don't know, that's where it's from originally. You can't fool it with the masks, you know what I mean? So it's very scary, and I feel like it would work really well with the nurse. Moving on to the Huntress and the twins, and now these are both here because if you haven't guessed yet, I think Chica would work really well with either of these. Now, if it's the Huntress, she would be throwing her cupcakes, right? That'd be amazing. But if it's the twins, then you can actually take control of Mr. Cupcake. And the way that Victor, which is the little twin if you don't know, he grabs onto your back and he starts like, essentially you have to shake him off. That would be so good with Mr. Cupcake. I really hope that the twins get a Chica variant, but if Huntress gets it and you can only throw the cupcake, then okay, I guess that makes sense too. Next, let's get into Hillbilly. So for Hillbilly, I think, you know, his little boost attack and everything, that's giving Foxy. All right, the like little charge and the you can go only like one direction. That's such a Foxy thing to do, you know. And I really hope that we get that one specifically for him. I mean, it could be Rockstar Foxy, but I don't know. The Rockstars I don't think are gonna be in this collab at all. Moving on to the dredge. All right, the dredge was kind of hard because I was thinking of things it could possibly be, and honestly, it can only be two, right? And that's either Molten Freddy which I'll flash up a photo, or the Blob. Now, there's no really good images of the Blob, in my opinion. He's always like obscured, or like it's a bunch of stuff going on around him. So there's not really a good image of him, but he is just, an amalgamation, a mass of these animatronics that have been fused together. I think Molten Freddy would work better for the Dredge, just based on the fact that it is kind of more distinct, and you can kind of tell who it is just like from a glance. Whereas the Blob, it's more like, oh, I can see part of Chica, or oh, I can see part of Scrap Baby. Like it's a bunch of different animatronics. But yeah. So next, let's do the Unknown. The Unknown is such a easy one, right? It's Mangle. Easy, easy, easy. The way that the neck is like, off center of the body, that would be so good for Mangle. The way it walks, amazing. The robot, like the weird voice it has, just put a little robotic filter on it, and bam, even better. Like, it would work so well, and I really, really hope that they bring him in. Now, next, moving on to Legion. Now, Legion I wanted to put in here because not all of the characters have to be the animatronics. So there's plenty of human characters in the Fnaf franchise, and whether they get turned into animatronics or what have you, there's a very specific set that I feel like would work really well with Legion, and that is the bullies. If you don't know who the bullies are, I'll flash up a photo, but they're in the pixelated little games that you play throughout the nights, or like in between the nights, and they're the ones who witnessed the bite of 87. And yeah, it's very obvious, like Julie, Susie, Joey, and what's the last one, Frank, I don't know, but like them with the like little masks of Bonnie, Chica, Freddy, and Foxy, that would work so well. I think that's such a good like little transition. Like, it's an easy cosmetic, you don't have to make it a lot, you just have to put a mask on them, and I feel like that's very simple, and honestly we might get that one. Another one that would be really well, and this is more so not for all four. So if the bullies were all four of the Legion members, these would only be for one. So Vanny, we could have a Vanny skin, and that could be for Julie or Susie, whichever one. And we could also have the Stitch Wraith. Now, if you don't know who the Stitch Wraith is because you've only played the games, it is a character from the books and the graphic novels, and it's a very interesting character. It's a very intriguing plot that happens around it. But yeah, I'm not gonna spoil it, but I think that would be really, really good for Legion. As I said before, Springtrap could easily be like Bonnie, Freddy, Burn Trap, Glitch Trap, even Golden Freddy. Like any of the variants that you don't really know where to put them, you could put them as a Springtrap variant. Next, let's talk about the Survivor. The Survivor is not going to be a child. I hate to break it to the people who are like dead set on thinking that Gregory is going to be in the game, or like the girl from Ruin. I forgot her name. Oh, Cassie, that's it. They're not. They don't have kids in DVD because at the end of the day, DVD is a mature game. I think honestly, I would not put it past us to not necessarily have a main survivor, because Mike is everyone keeps saying that it's either going to be Mike or Vanessa. That's the two that I keep seeing. Vanessa could work. But I feel like, I don't know, she has that type of Vanny, you know what I mean? On top of that, Mike is we never see Mike. We only see Mike as a little pixelated thing, and I'm not really taking into consideration the graphic novels. But like, I don't know. I feel like DBD would more likely put security guard outfits on like some of their characters. Felix Richter really comes to mind. Dwight, maybe, it would be more so. And I don't know. I feel like that could work. You know what I mean? Like, they have them having a security guard outfit that just any survivor could do. That's pretty cool. I think that's really dope. But yeah, so obviously not Gregory. Maybe a Vanessa, though. I wouldn't be opposed to Vanessa or Mike. I would just really want to see what they do with that, because I just don't know how that would work, especially with Mike, seeing as we don't really ever see him. And then when we see him, he kind of dies. But yeah, next, let's talk about the map. So, if we're not gonna have a pizza place, which we might, I'll get into that. But if we don't have a pizza place, maybe I could see the house from Five Nights at Freddy's 4 or Fazbear Frights. I think Fazbear Frights works really well, just it being like a horror thing and DBD being a horror game, the Horror Hall of Fame, in my opinion. But yeah, I think it would work really well, as like either of those maps would work really well. But also, we're probably gonna get the pizza place, like like the original pizza place, or maybe an amalgamation would be cool of the Five Nights at Freddy's 1 and 2. Um, I could also see the Pizzaplex. If they really want to go with the modern games, then they could do the Pizzaplex, and that's not necessarily a bad map because it's pretty big. So big to the point where the Switch couldn't run it. But yeah, so I don't know. It could work. It could work. Now, talking about security breach, I want to talk about security breach skins, right? I guess, any skin that's Chica or Freddy, they could be switched for Glamrock Freddy, Glamrock Chica. Roxy and Monty could be, I don't know, for another Springtrap variant. I just don't really know where you could put them. The other ones were very obvious. Chica has her cupcake, so twins are the huntress. That works really, really well. But yeah, and then lastly, I want to talk about charms. So the charms are so easy. All right, let me do it for you, behavior. Balloon Boy charm, Helpy charm, Paper Pal charms. A mini Endo, any of the Funko blind box, just put them as a charm. I think that would be so cool. But yeah, those that really brings me up. Those are my thoughts to the Five Nights at Freddy's and DBD collab. I really hope that we get a lot of stuff for this collab. It's gonna be really fun. I know it, and I can't wait to see what they do. Well, everybody, I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon, whenever you are watching this. And I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.